too late to run off to mum now.
Birdie is a British punk who appears as an anti-hero in the Street Fighter video game series. He initially joins Shadaloo while climbing the steps of the underworld, but is finally seen allying himself with the protagonists Ryu and Chun-Li. In this episode of Marvelous Videos, we will dig into this character's backstory, which doesn't appear particularly black or white. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you, and let's begin.
It's gotten too quiet now.
History of Birdie. Birdie first appeared as a non-playable character in the original Street Fighter game. He became playable in Street Fighter Alpha. He is typically portrayed as an extremely tall British punk rocker from the late 70s. He is dressed like a typical punk rocker, complete with combat boots, studded bracelets, and a dark leather vest and blue jeans. Early designs of Birdie in Street Fighter V were almost exact replicas of his original appearance. Birdie is a large black man with a blonde mohawk and sideburns who appears in the Alpha series. He also has a broad, sharp brown mustache, large lips, a hole amid a mohawk that is impossible, and a red heart tattoo on the side of his head that gives the appearance of a pointed bird's beak. Birdie claims that his pale state from being ill caused the sudden change in his look. His clothing has also been altered. He is now wearing a blue leather vest with a high, pointed collar. Along with numerous other accoutrements, he also dons a necklace that features rectangular yellow beads and a round red one in the center. These feature fingerless blue gloves, thick metal bracelets, oddly pointed brown shoes, and round red earrings. Punks in Japan use them more frequently than in England. Birdie has developed a beer belly and looks a lot heavier in Street Fighter V. He also appears filthy and unclean. Ripped jeans and a chav punk jacket with a bulging collar have improved his punk ensemble. His sharp brown shoes have been replaced by more intricate combat boots. He also gets the tattoo lifelike dice on his belly. Due to the switch from sprites to 3D models, his mohawk is also animated more accurately without the hole in the middle. His alternative outfit is a Shadoo-inspired yellow and black biker jumpsuit like Rufus. His second outfit is reminiscent of the late Queen frontman Freddie Mercury. His mustache and his loose downward pointing mohawk are both black dyed. He's wearing a red bordered white shirt, a yellow flak vest, and red and white sneakers. He conceals his belly tattoo. Birdie's personality closely resembles the stereotype of the dim-witted brute. He is aggressive, often agitated, and generally nasty to everyone around him. Before or after the battle, he has the disconcerting habit of licking the chain that is fastened to his wrist. However, he is shown more favorably in Street Fighter's extended media. He is portrayed to be friends with Ryu and to support Chun-Li in the Alpha manga. Birdie is portrayed in Street Fighter V as more of a humorous glutton who loves to eat, even while he is engaged in combat. Birdie is still unpleasant and obnoxious, but now that he is not a member of Shadaloo, he seems to be acting a lot more submissively. Additionally, he hates wearing hats because he believes they will damage his mohawk and is quite worried about it. Birdie used to compete in professional wrestling and occasionally joined up with Titanic Tim to form the 500 million trillion powers, before resorting to crime. After his wrestling career ended, he started living a life of crime. To supplement his income, he also engaged in other side hustles, including nightclub bouncing and street fighting. Birdie appeared to be ill during the Street Fighter events. Despite this setting him back, Birdie advanced into the underworld. He later learned about a group named Shadaloo. He tracked down their leader, M. Bison, and demonstrated his combat skills to join them. But Bison simply wanted a test subject, so he subjected Birdie to cruel and humiliating tests. Birdie vowed revenge. During the events of Street Fighter Alpha 3, he enters a Shadaloo data room covertly. He didn't realize M. Bison was watching him when he found the Psycho Drive gadget. He went out to discover it because he believed he could use it to depose Bison and take control of Shadaloo for himself. Balrog was dispatched by Bison to assassinate Birdie, but after explaining how the Psycho Drive might make them strong, Birdie persuaded Balrog to work with him instead. But Birdie was unable to find the drive in time before it exploded due to Balrog's incompetence. Birdie is depicted leaving Street Fighter V's character narrative after being frustrated with Shadaloo and neglecting Fang. After fending off Chun-Li, he finally arrives at Kanzuka Estate. Karen is defeated by him and she is astounded by his prowess. When she inquires as to his reasons for leaving Shadaloo, Birdie replies obligingly that he didn't like how they handled business. Karen chooses to test Birdie's leadership skills by inviting him to stay at the estate as her guest. He readily agreed after being informed that it will result in endless free meals at any time that he wants. To his horror, Karen smugly offers him the task of fending off 100 of her bodyguards as the first order of business. Interesting facts you never knew about Birdie. He was given the moniker Birdie after the golf phrase. Guile, the other English character from the original Street Fighter video game, similarly gets his name from a golf phrase. Many Velvet Underground posters and a portrait of the late Bill Cravens, former Capcom USA VP of Sales and Marketing, can be found on the walls of Birdie's stage in the original Street Fighter. In Ryu, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Ending, a thug that looks like Birdie from the original game makes an appearance. Dudley follows Birdie as the first black British character in the series. The wrestler Nelson Frazier Jr., formerly known as Mabel, Viscera, and Big Daddy V, resembles Birdie's present look. Birdie views Zangief as a rival because of his mohawk rather than because of his experience in wrestling. Birdie's belly tattoo is a replica of CM Punk's former professional wrestler for WWE, a former combatant in the UFC, and a current wrestler for AEW. What makes Birdie so strong? Birdie uses a mixture of wrestling with street brawling. His preferred methods entail headbutting the adversary while utilizing the bullhead and bullhorn strikes. Bullhorn may be utilized to narrow the gap on Birdie's opponents and provide a brief period of invulnerability against projectile assaults. Players should use his bullhead carefully since the fully charged headbutt leaves them extremely exposed. He also has grappling skills like Bandit Chain and Murder Chain in his repertoire. The player should use his other assaults to close the distance before using grappling maneuvers to inflict harm. Birdie's playstyle has been modified for his role in Street Fighter V to combine his previous grappling abilities with effective defensive moves, making him intimidating from a distance as well as up close. Breaking Time, Birdie's first V skill, allows him to eat one of 3 different foods, each with a different consequence. His V gauge merely increases after eating a donut. When eating a banana, the skin is exposed for the adversary to step on. He may create a makeshift projectile by rolling a can around the floor while consuming an energy drink. The banana peel and energy drink do little harm, but they can knock out Birdie's adversaries and leave them vulnerable to a subsequent attack. Chewing Time, Birdie's second V skill, enables him to manipulate the air by utilizing bubblegum as a projectile that shoots out in an arc and may also be used to deflect other fireballs. Enjoy Time, his initial V trigger, performs similarly to Makoto's Tanden Renki. A chili pepper causes Birdie's skin to become red, 20% greater damage to all of his attacks, faster movement and armor for his special attacks with the bullhead and bullhorn. Birdie Time, his second V trigger, provides Birdie access to additional chain attacks and ups the damage output of both his hanging chain and bull revenger. Marvelous appearances of Birdie in other media. He is the most noticeable Alpha character in Street Fighter Alpha, the animation. He is shown as having an oddly heroic and noble mentality with an American accent. He was equally as aggressive and conceited as his video game counterpart, yet he nevertheless begged Ken and Chun-Li to leave him and join the rest in escaping. Despite being badly battered multiple times, he continues to protect them from Dr. Sadler's robotic enforcer. He was last spotted being transported to safety. Along with several other Street Fighter Alpha sub-series characters, Birdie makes his animated television debut in the episode The Medium is the Message. Several players, including Birdie, were taking part in a competition in Chhatarpur, India. His and the other Alpha characters' roles were minor. He was seen facing Adon close to the episode's start. How the altercation turned out is unknown. Later, in a 2-on-2 bout, Guile and Blanca defeated Guy and Birdie with ease. In Cammy and The Bachelor, Birdie makes a second appearance with Sodom, another Alpha character. He assumes a considerably larger and more prominent position than before. The two characters are accountable for a crime wave that devastates London while working for Bison. Delta Red becomes aware of this crime wave, but his attempts to put a stop to it are foiled by Bison and his minions. Unlike his cameo in The Medium as the Message, Birdie has many speaking roles, and his character is substantially built upon. In light of Birdie's relationship with Shadaloo in Street Fighter Alpha 2/3, the episode suggests that he may either be an employee of the organization or a member. In the Street Fighter Alpha manga series, Birdie makes an appearance and is unexpectedly portrayed in a more upbeat manner. Despite him being the boss of a gang of drug traffickers, Ryu considers Birdie a close friend and companion, since he was the first to show him kindness. He truly assists Chun-Li in preventing Ryu from killing everyone while under the effect of Satsui no Hado, demonstrating his abilities as a crafty yet reliable partner. In addition, Birdie appeared in the Street Fighter IV comic by Udon, where he was found by Abel while searching for information on the Sin Gang and was seen pulling heads off baby dolls for ammunition. Abel prevails in the duel between the two. Although it's unclear whether or not Birdie is truly battling in Ryu or Ryu's Super Street Fighter II Turbo closing shot, the street thug looks like him.
Bison for something like this. Shut up! I ain't gonna be doing this.
Marvelous verdict. When it comes to gaming, we enjoy going back to the basics. Unfortunately, the majority of Street Fighter fans choose to simply ignore the fact that there were any previous games before SF2. Even if the first game had some problematic spots, there were still a few supporting players that were worth another look. Since then, Birdie hasn't exactly been ignored. Birdie has gotten used to his repeated status as a selectable combatant after mysteriously changing from a tiny, white punk rocker in the first game to a huge black man with an even wilder mohawk in later games. This fighter would bring a distinct touch of class to the SVIV proceedings with his changeable looks and fluctuating allegiance. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.
Birdie wins.